Greetings, salutations, respect, and love. I am Scott, and you are in the Prog Corner, man. Today, we're going to be talking about one of the more controversial bands of all time. We're talking about U2. And every time I look at these listicles where pundits rank the most overrated bands or the worst bands, whatever, U2 is always in there, man. And it makes me a little bit confused because I've always liked U2. I really have, and I'm going to, share my story, and we're going to talk a little bit about the band and why I'm going to defend them just a little bit. Yeah, I wasn't born in the Republic of Ireland, so I really don't understand, the background for why Bono is the way he is. But again, refer back to my episode about politics and music that I did last week, and you'll see I have no problem with it, man. If you've got a platform and you got a mouth and you got an opinion, go for it. Absolutely. U2 was formed in 1976 in Mount Temple Comprehensive School in Dublin. I guess the Edge, David Howell Evans, put up, wanted musicians for a band, and some guy named Paul David Hewson, better known as Bono. You ever notice how those two guys have the same name? David Howell Evans and Paul David Hewson. No wonder they changed their names. Those names are awful. They were joined by Adam Clayton on bass and the luckiest man on earth, Larry Mullen Jr., who put the junior at the end of his name because his dad kept getting all this tax stuff for his son, like huge tax bills, so he put the junior after his name so his dad wouldn't keep getting that. Originally, the band called themselves Feedback. It's all right. It's not a horrible name. Then they changed it to The Hype, which is not a good name. Maybe back in 1965, that would have been a good name. And then they settled on U2, which is a good name because it's got all kinds of ambiguity to it, and there's different ways you can interpret it. Absolutely. The band had a big break, a Limerick pop group 78 talent show. They won it. I guess they were real surprised. This all happened during that great punk explosion in the UK, which of course impacted Ireland. And all these bands were coming up, and the Edge was quoted as saying, "Boy, it's awesome. You don't really need to have talent to be in a band anymore," which is so not fair to bands like the Stranglers and the Clash, who had tons of talent. This band here, man, they got 15 albums out. They have sold 170 million records over the years. That's incredible. They've won 22 Grammys. Rolling Stone counts them as the number 22 most important artist of all time. They were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2005, and the band started their career with a 3-song EP in 1979. All 3 of those songs went on to get re-recorded and were present on their great debut album. My first encounter with U2 was right about the time that debut album, Boy, dropped in 1980. They showed up on the Tom Snyder TV show, and they played I Will Follow. It blew my mind. I was working at a record store at the time, so I immediately said, "Hey, why don't we have U2's debut album?" And sure enough, that day it came in from Ireland, and I bought it, and I have been hooked ever since. I think Boy is absolutely phenomenal. Yeah, part of my attraction to early U2 is the Steve Lillywhite connection. Big fan of his work with the Psychedelic Furs and with XTC. So yeah, as I saw Steve Lillywhite's name in there, I was interested, but that song, I Will Follow, oh man, I still love it to this day. And then they dropped their second album in 1981, Boy, and I met them. They were opening for Jay Giles, and this was February 1980 at the Lee County Civic Center, and me and my friend Jesus Fish Superbeer, who was in the great band Nat King Kong, he and I went backstage, and I had a copy of Billboard magazine in my hand because we both worked at a record store, and the new Billboard showed Centerfold was #1 on the singles chart. So I was going to try to get to Peter Wolf and show him, "Hey man, look," because these is the old days before the internet. I knew he hadn't seen it. Like, he probably had heard about it. His manager probably rang him up at the hotel before the gig. Hey, you guys are number one, but I wanted to be the first one to actually show it to him. I never got a chance to meet Peter Wolf because we watched the U2 part of the show, and then we went backstage and like, man, I want to meet those guys. Full intention was to, come back around and see Jay Giles and talk to them, but it never happened, man, because Bono and The Edge had me cornered, man. I talked to those cats throughout the entirety of Jay Giles' set. We were laughing about it, making fun at Centerfold being number one. They were not fans at all. They thought it was ridiculous. But they were actually more interested to see the album charts, right? Because they wanted to see what October was doing. They knew the single Gloria wasn't going to chart, or if it did, it wasn't going to, get too high up on the charts. But they were real curious to see how October was going to do versus their debut album. And talking to the guys, man, I was talking to The Edge and Bono for at least 2 hours, man. It was just amazing. These guys were so cool, so down to earth, so nice to me. I'm like, 17 years old, 18 years old, me and my friend. We're just music fans who work in a record store, and they took their entire time talking to us too. It was just amazing. Great guys. So yeah, I'm super biased. And one thing I noticed talking to The Edge was he was keenly aware that October was not as good as Boy. He knew it. U2 definitely suffered from the sophomore slump on that record, absolutely. So that is why a couple years later, with 1983, their third album came out. You knew it was going to be a better album. They knew it had to be a better album. They kind of, talking to them, they got the idea that their third album was make or break. And boy, oh boy, did they deliver the goods with War. Oh, such a great album. The next year, they decided to try their hand with a new production team. Daniel, how do you pronounce his last name, man? I should know this. I've been in the music business my entire life. Daniel Lanios, I don't know. And Brian Eno come in, and they do The Unforgettable Fire. Just a fantastic, fantastic record. I love it. 3 years later, it took them 3 years for the next one, which was the Joshua Tree, the one that blew them up and made them big, giant superstars and whatnot. Great album. The following year, they come out with Rattle and Hum, which was, just kind of like half live, half studio, just a real low-key affair. Had a couple of hits like Desire and stuff. It was okay, but it really didn't sound like U2. And then 1991, they change it all up and they go all crazy and weird and experimental with Octoon Baby. Real good record. Again, it's the Daniel Lanios, Brian Eno production team. Then in 1993, they do Zooropa with Flood. That was just a stroke of genius using Flood, because I was a big Flood fan. I loved his production. I was a big fan of a band called Curve, and bringing in that whole wall of sound was exciting to me. So 1993 Zooropa, 1997 Pop. I like those albums, man. Fantastic records. But things kind of, fell apart. Their next three albums, in 2000, they were going to drop an album called U2000, but at the last minute, they changed it to All That You Can't Leave Behind. It was a return of Steve Lillywhite to the production desk, and it was all right. I liked it. And 2004, How to Dismantle an Atom Bomb, saw the return of Brian Eno. That was pretty good. And then 2009, No Line on the Horizon came out. Their last decent album, and I got a problem with their last three albums. I really do. 2014, I woke up one day and I've got a new U2 album on my phone and I can't seem to get rid of it no matter what I do. I listened to it like once or twice just because it was there. But then I'm like, I don't want to listen to this because they're telling me to listen to it. It really left a real bad taste in my mouth. 2017, Songs of Experience came out, and it wasn't any better at all. And then last year, they dropped something called Songs of Surrender, which was a double album of them just re-recording their greatest hits. Why? I have no idea. But, so that's their entire discography. And I'm going to tell you, their early stuff is outstanding, man. I really like how they created their own sound. You hear a U2 song, it only takes you like 2 or 3 seconds to figure out it's U2, right? Especially the Edge's guitar work with the delay and the echo and all that stuff he's going on, working with all the harmonics, and Larry with his Marshall drumming back there. And it's Adam just doing his thing. But it's Bono that everybody focuses on. It's Bono that, wears the sunglasses and does all the commercials and, is always aping left wing type of stuff. Leave him alone. If you don't like his politics, that's fine. You don't have to listen to his politics. If you don't like his music, you don't have to listen to his music. But what's with all the hate, guys? I don't understand, because I tell you, every time I talk about U2 on this channel, you guys let me know that you just aren't having it, man. You guys let me know that band sucks. I don't like them. When I did my 10 bands that I hate episode, I, at the very front, said, I am not putting U2 on here, man, because I've got a personal connection to them. I met them, and they were super nice to 18-year-old Scott. So, yeah, they got a lifetime pass as far as I'm concerned, man. Absolutely they do. So, yeah, if you don't like U2, man, put it in your pipe and smoke it. It's okay. There's plenty of other bands you can listen to. But I, for one, cherish the early U2 stuff, man. Boy, October, War, Unforgettable Fire, Joshua Tree. To me, that's a great run, man. That's 5 great albums to start your career. And then you do some different stuff with like Rattle and Hum, and then Achtung Baby and Zooropa. So this is a band that never really stayed in one place too long. That's part of why I liked them. But anyway, they're not what they used to be. Who is, man? Yes isn't recording Close to the Edge anymore. So we got to take what we can take. Anyway, yeah, next week, man. Oh, it's going to be so good. It's Nectar Week on the channel. But hey, don't forget Sunday. Sunday's a big day on the Prog Corner, boys and girls. We've got Harry Whitley, the new singer from Asia, on the show. We're going to be talking about what? We're talking about Asia. What else would we be talking about, man? It's incredible. I love it. So anyway, guys, peace in the Middle East. Free Tibet, free the Ukraine, free Willie, free everybody, free everything you want, free beer. It's all good. And God save the king, man. Save King Chucky. Oh, that boy's got the cancer. Oh, that song, God needs that savior. Bring him over here. That song, bitch, could definitely use that. Healing hands of the faithful all over him. Yeah, we're going to take care of that boy with spells and incantations. Our prayer warriors are going to work overtime 24/7, making that boy all right. Then we're going to drink some poison, and you know what's next? Hey, Billy Bob, bust out them snakes. Oh, no, the snakes are out. Oh, we're going to dance with them rattlesnakes. Oh, look out, Billy Bob. Here they come. Oh, no. Oh, no, these are... Oh, I think he's got me. Oh, that one's got a good bite. Anyway, guys, I'll see you Sunday for the live Sunday show. I love you. Peace.